If it isn't Fooly Cooly. Often I find myself listening to the FLCL soundtrack. It makes me feel like a kid watching Toonami past my bedtime on a cool night in 2001. Of course, that never happened, thus I wasn't even old enough to watch TV, but it feels nice to dream sometimes. Fooly Cooly Season 1 was without a doubt one of the greatest anime of all time. It's something I've watched religiously for the past year. I think I speak for everyone when we heard that Fooly Cooly was getting a Season 2 in 2018 with a new original soundtrack by The Pillows. We thought, hey, it's not by Dynax, but who cares? It has The Pillows, and that's right on Shooting Star. And there's our girl Harada. Wait, where's Naoto? And Kanti. This show's gonna be the best show in 2018. There's no way it could be bad. Let's take it back a couple years. Back to... After 17 years, Fooly Cooly was back.
I rediscovered the greatness of this anime.
You got Gynax. It's not been the same since Penny and Saki.
Beloved IPs are the most powerful commodity in the anime industry.
It really made me love this series that much more.
Darling in the Franxx is bad anyway.
With a late night Toonami premiere, just like when you were a kid, with an all-new album and soundtrack by The Pillows. So, after all this time, what were we presented with?
Right off the bat, I want to say I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't love it.
Fooly Cooly Progressive is a fucking travesty.
A color-by-number rehash of the source material with a lifeless presentation, shallow, unlikable characters, and a severe lack of creativity or innovation.
In the vision behind the show, which Fooly Cooly 2 and 3 severely lack.
Truth wonders if this show is self-aware about its mediocrity.
Original just fooled people into thinking the series is amazing regardless of how it is. There's not a single interest in FLCL.
Time and time again, Fooly Cooly's creator Suzurumaki-san would push back against the idea. In a meeting with Cartoon Network, he shot down CN execs by saying, "I've already done everything I want to achieve in FLCL, so no, it's not possible." So that was that. Fooly Cooly was officially dead. No sequel, no more Pillows, no more Naota and Haruko. The bat had been swung for the final time. Until 2015. 15 years had passed since Fooly Cooly was real to the world, and at that time, it was on a clock. A ticking time bomb not even Suzurumaki-san could stop. Although FLCL was a joint production between Gynax and Production IG, Gynax still held the rights to the original story, and now the copyright for the show was up. But although the copyright was expired, nobody wanted to buy the rights. Cartoon Network couldn't because they're not a Japanese anime studio, so everyone had lost hope, and it seemed like after all these years, Fooly Cooly would be finally laid to rest. Terashima-san is an avid fan of Fooly Cooly who works in the anime industry, distributing anime to companies like Netflix, Crunchyroll, G-Kids, and Funimation. She also happens to be the president of Production IG USA, who works closely with Adult Swim's Toonami. And although all faith seemed lost, she knew that if Production IG bought the rights to the show, she could put a team together and make a sequel. Production IG bought the rights to Fooly Cooly, and once again, a sequel was in the works. despite Ishikawa-san's worries of not being able to write another Fooly Cooly, he constantly pestered Suzurumaki-san and Enokita-san every time they talked. He was met with the response of,
つみさんも続編作ってよっていう話は会うことに言ってたんですけど、やっぱり本人はあの時代だからこそできたと。やっぱりだからあの子めちゃくちゃもう自分のもう心の中にいろんな欲求とかいろいろ溜まってて、それを吐き出したいっていうことで全てぶつけたので、あれはつるみさんの青春時代を描いた作品なので。
And in a lot of ways, this was the secret sauce, the Krabby Patty formula, the 1965 Super Sport 180 Vespa. This is why Fooly Cooly was special to all of us, why it's resonated with some of us for over a decade and a half, and why it's still such a pop culture icon. This was the real reason why if there would ever be a Fooly Cooly, it just wouldn't feel the same. Right here is where the story gets blurry though. Rumors are at this point Suzurumaki-san was forced into a corner to make FLCL 2. Others say he finally caved in. Some say they just started production without his permission. Or that everyone just wanted to make a sequel and just did it. All of these cases are entirely possible, but none were confirmed, and nobody has asked Suzurumaki-san to comment. Despite all this, it was only the beginning of a long line of misfortune. Although Production IG had the rights to the show now, no animator, writer, producer, or director from Gainax, Trigger, or their own animation studio wanted to work on the show. But why though? Why wouldn't they want to make the follow-up to one of the greatest shows in history? Well, that's exactly why. They too had the same mindset of not wanting to impede what Suzurumaki-san had made. So, if I'm sitting here right now talking about this, and FLCL 2 did get made, what was the solution? Cartoon Network and Production IG decided that since they couldn't have Suzurumaki-san or Enokita-san in the project, they would hire some industry veterans to create Progressive, but still, nobody took up the role. Running out of options and time, they went with their next bet of giving a new young director a shot. In many ways, Arai-san was like Naota, but before he swung the bat.
Maybe when the chips are down, he's too scared to swing the bat himself. Depending on what he does, to all you folks out there, sayonara!
Despite all this though, it's no doubt everyone working on the show cared immensely about the project. Some cared so much they would turn down the opportunity to work on it due to the fact they didn't believe they could live up to the works of season 1. And if that isn't caring about a show's legacy, I don't know what is. One of the main factors, if not the main sauce that made FLCL such a special show, aside from the writing and direction and team and all that other stuff, of course, it was... Fooly Cooly Season 1 burst onto the scene with squashing stretch, goodness, explosions, and more bullet time scenes than you could ever imagine packed into 2.5 hours of the best entertainment you could ever ask for. Unlike shows like Mob Psycho 100 and One Punch Man, where its jazz was because key scenes were animated by a dedicated team of specialty animators, Fooly Cooly had all 3 of these limited assets in its animation, being talent, budget, and time. They were given a time frame, cost, and team of a 12-episode to 24-episode series. So, launching back to the sequel, things didn't look as sweet as the original. Although they had a young, dedicated, and talented team that wanted to be faithful to the original series, they were still missing 2 of the key elements to a special animated show's success. And so, Progressive's fate was sealed from the start. that didn't mean Alternative was anything short of disappointing. As a matter of fact, against all odds, it's goddamn beautiful. Although the animation isn't quite on the level as the first, the writing is a definite love letter to the original. It doesn't try to be safe, it doesn't try to be like Fooly Cooly, because nothing is Fooly Cooly, so therefore it is Fooly Cooly. Characters like Kana weirdly resonate with us whether we've graduated high school or moved on to higher education, because most of us at one time in our life have experienced that feeling of love, rejection, or just the struggle of being a teenager sometimes. Although it's not in the same universe as Naota and Kanti, the characters still relate deeply with all of us because it's not meant to be a sequel. It's meant to be its own thing, from the world to its aesthetic, and to Kana's final speech to end Alternative being a criminally underrated anime ending. For now, FLCL's put on hold. It's clear that Alternative and Progressive weren't a solid ending to the Fooly Cooly series. ZN executives to this day are still nagging Suzuramaki-san to make his own FLCL, which he has completely ignored due to working on Evangelion 4.0. Production IG still owns the rights to FLCL, but Adult Swim is calling the shots for the future of the series, and it seems the team has parted ways for newer pastures and or is now working on Uzumaki. Furuta-san is still the president of Production IG USA and is now working on the long-awaited Uzumaki anime adaptation as well. Adult Swim also seems to have shifted most of their anime focus to Uzumaki as well. Oh god, no. Please, no. It's safe to say Fooly Cooly is alive, but it's not alive in the way that we wanted it to be. Whether you believe Fooly Cooly was a special franchise that went corporate against the creator's will, or that everyone just wanted to make something cool and it didn't work out in the end. At the end of the day, Suzuramaki-san made a show with certain feelings that only come in a certain moment in our lives, at a time before otaku culture influenced most anime, when production of Fooly Cooly was a special once-in-a-lifetime moment, because it was a new era, a new wave, where nobody knew what the hell the future held, and we were just getting over the fact that the world didn't end. A moment that may not ever happen again in the anime industry.
But
I think Suzuramaki-san may think he's an idiot for creating Fooly Cooly, but he should just lighten up and just follow what Haruko says.
It takes an idiot to do cool things, and that's why it's cool.